Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Fort Collins Disability Advisory Board Community Recognition Awards. My name is Terry Schlichten. I serve as chair of the Disability Advisory Board. My pronouns are he, him, his. On behalf of the Disability Advisory Board, we welcome you all to the Community and Recognition Awards this evening. We celebrate the unwavering support, compassion, and inclusivity within our local community. Tonight we gather to recognize and applaud individuals and organizations that have dedicated their time, passion, and resources to making the lives of people with disabilities more inclusive and full of opportunities to be active participants of our community. In a world that often fails to acknowledge the unique strengths and abilities of those with disabilities, it is important to take time to recognize the exceptional people and organizations right here in our community that exemplify the values of empathy, kindness, and solidarity. These advocates and allies foster the development of opportunity, understanding, progress, and belonging for people with disabilities in Fort Collins. Tonight we celebrate these individuals who have been mentors, friends, and advocates for those facing the challenges of a world that was not built for those with disabilities in mind. We also commend the local organizations that have worked to create a more accessible and inclusive community, removing barriers and fostering an environment where everyone can thrive. This award ceremony is a testament to the power of collective action, the strength of unity, and the belief that every person, regardless of their abilities, has a unique contribution to make. It is a reminder that by supporting each other, we can build a society that is not only diverse, but also genuinely inclusive, where differences are celebrated and obstacles are reduced. We want to express our heartfelt gratitude to all the nominees and the countless individuals who do this work out of love, not for the spotlight or recognition. Your dedication and compassion has created positive change throughout our community, and we are proud to have this opportunity to shine a well-deserved spotlight on your contributions. Thank you for joining us this evening as we recognize and celebrate the efforts of those who have created positive and transformational change in our community. Now I would like to introduce Claudia Menendez, Chief Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Officer for the City of Fort Collins.
Thank you, Terry. Thank you so much, everyone. It really is delightful to be here this evening. Hope you all enjoyed the food. Thank you to Spice of Life for the lovely meal we've had today. Sorry, I just walked right in front of that and burnt my eyeballs. My name is Claudia Maria Menendez, and I'm the Equity and Inclusion Officer. And I just wanted, before we get started, some of you may have noticed that we have a special canine friend over there. And so I'm going to just have Jody come up and, both of you, yes, and Devorah. Devorah seems to be very relaxed right now, just because I know they're going to have to go home soon and feed Devorah. But just I think this is an example of some of the services that are provided within our community to help people with disabilities, different kinds of disabilities, and so they're just going to share a little bit about the service they provide.
Thank you. I think Devorah wants to go on stage. My name is Bonnie Fear, this is Jody Lockwood, and this is LCC K9 Comfort Dog Devorah, Isaiah 43:2. Just a little bit about our organization. We are a national organization, and we are based out of Northbrook, Illinois, and it's called Lutheran Church Charities. The K9 ministry started in 2008 with 4 golden retrievers. Up to this date, we have about 130 golden retrievers in 27 states. We have 2 currently at our church in Redeemer, at Redeemer Fort Collins. They are placed in Lutheran Church Missouri Synod, and they serve their communities. We're called an affiliate, and we work in our communities. Jody's going to tell you a little bit about the local communities we do. Nationally, we do deploy to crisis situations or disasters. So wherever the disaster is, we regionalize, we pull in the golden retrievers, and we go to work by just bringing calmness, presence of a dog that us humans cannot do in those situations. Jody's going to talk a little bit about what we do locally.
And Devorah's going to run.
Devorah's going to be a rug. So these dogs are called working dogs versus service dogs. So service dogs are just for the one person holding the leash, whereas working dogs are for everyone else except the person holding the leash. So they get the same kind of training. It's a lot of behavioral training. They know about 40 commands. Most of those commands are to help people pet them, like to get up on someone's lap that is in a wheelchair, or to put their front paws in a rise on a hospital bed. But since Devorah is supposed to say some remarks, what she would like to say to you is that some of her favorite visits in Northern Colorado are to like the Shine people, Shine LCC. Oh my gosh, we love that visit. We do it every month. Respite care. She loves children, and they can do anything to her. She can have 10 little kids all over her, and she does not care. Her other favorite visits are to first responders. She does a lot of first responder visits in this area and in Boulder. Ever since the Boulder King Super shooting, we've been going down there every single month since. So we go to the coroner's office, the police department, the fire stations, the 911 callers. I think that's about it. And we do that all throughout Northern Colorado too. So those are some of her favorite visits. She does hospital visits, she does nursing home visits, a lot of the same things that therapy dogs do, but they just have a little more training, mainly to just stay super calm no matter what is going on. Like you'll never hear her bark. I don't think I've ever
In a
hardly
room like
heard-
this.
Yes.
She does bark at the moon once in a while.
The moon, that's when she barks. Okay, otherwise she's very quiet and calm. When her vest comes off, she is a dog, and she gets to play and get paychecks just like any other dog, except she can't go on the furniture. So we just want to thank you for having us here. We enjoy, we know some of you from some of the visits that we do, and we are just very thankful to be included in this special occasion.
She's really good at picking up crumbs. I would also like to recognize our elected officials who are here in the room today. I'm just going to go around the room before you take your next bite. We have Councilmember Shirley Peel here. We have Mayor Pro Tem Francis. We have Tricia Canonico in the back. And we also have Julie Pignataro here. Thank you so much for joining us. So it's a real pleasure to be here and as one of the staff liaisons to the Disability Advisory Board. The DAB is a group of very dedicated individuals who advocate passionately for the rights, equitable contributions, and access of people with disabilities, intellectual and physical disabilities. The Equity and Inclusion Office is an ally to all people with disabilities in our Fort Collins community. And we proudly work alongside the DAB to accomplish work that advances equity and responds to their expressed needs, goals, and interests. We strive to meet the needs of the DAB with more specific resources, deeper care, and stronger priority. Boards and commissions are groups of volunteers who have applied to become members. They're extremely dedicated. They create work plans and they meet monthly to discuss various topics of interest. They serve as advisors to city departments by sharing their life experiences to guide project direction, so the programs the city designs are considerate of the needs of people with intellectual and physical disabilities and can incorporate universal designs that work for all community members. I would like to take a moment to recognize each of the members of the Disability Advisory Board who are here tonight. So we have our chair, Terry Schlichting. Of about 15 years, I might add, not a new chair at all. Jacqueline Menendez. And I think Jacqueline and I at some point are related down, the DNA lineage line. It's an unusual last name, and so it's a lot of you were like, maybe we're long lost sisters or something. Sheila Hammonds, who was here as well. Rachel Knox Stutzman, but she is not here today, this evening. Joe Tinner. Mandy Morgan. And Linda Dries in the back. Scott Wienegard, who is not here this evening. Evan Shockley. And I believe, and Jenny Colas, who's also, there's Jenny Colas. I looked for you earlier and I couldn't see her. I'm so maybe she's not. Jenny Colas also works in the equity office, and so is vital to this organization as well. So the Equity and Inclusion Office works on elevating the voices of all people and works with even more care to make sure that people with diverse lived and living experiences are seen, heard, and valued for their unique perspectives and contributions. People living with disabilities face daily challenges with the physical environment and social integration. So my job as the Equity and Inclusion Officer is to really, alongside the DABs, to identify the most pressing issues and understand what we need to do differently and really take action. And this includes working with many different departments to identify what the needs are and be able to move things and do things differently. We want to increase access, we want to increase enjoyment of life and opportunities for everyone in the community. And we still have a lot of work to do, and that I think we can all agree on. We have a lot of work to do to achieve the social justice and access for people with disabilities, and we're definitely on the right path. One example is that we will be hiring an American with Disabilities Act compliance coordinator in the coming weeks. And so that person's job, that lucky individual, will be coordinating a lot of these efforts across city departments. And so designed with the utmost care, with people, and not for people, but with the people with disabilities. And I think that's it's important to make that distinction, right? We're not doing this work for people, we're doing it with the people who matter and have their lived experiences heard. It's important to note that this work is not done by the city alone, and there are many partners who dedicate their life efforts to provide services and programs for people with diverse intellectual and physical disabilities of all ages. And so that's why we're here tonight, right? Is to celebrate and recognize these folks. We received many nominations, and all of them were beautiful to read. There's a lot of dedicated folks in this town. And so we are excited then to proceed with some of the awards so that you can get to know who some of these individuals are. And I think at this moment, I'm going to introduce Mayor Pro Tem Francis to come and join us and share a few words with us.
Good evening, everyone. These two and the dog are a tough act to follow, but I'll do my best. So, good evening and welcome to today's celebration for Collins Disability Advisory Board's Community Recognition Awards. It is a pleasure and a privilege to support the Disability Advisory Board as they honor outstanding individuals, businesses, and organizations who have been named recipients of the 2023 Community Recognition Awards. These awards recognize those in our community who work tirelessly to advance the inclusion and participation of people with disabilities in Fort Collins. Hold on. These recipients are allies, advocates, and change makers who often go unacknowledged. So today we recognize and celebrate the invaluable contributions of those who have dedicated their time, energy, and compassion to help people with disabilities. Their unwavering commitment and support are not only essential, but also an embodiment of empathy, inclusivity. You know, once you start, then you can't undo it. Inclusivity and the potential for positive change in our society. These individuals act as catalysts for positive, impactful change who empower individuals and disabilities to reach their full potential and leading fulfilling lives. Their efforts demonstrate that with the right support and understanding, we can all contribute to a more inclusive and equitable world for everyone, regardless of their ability. We must also recognize that there is a long way to go in our journey towards inclusion and access. We acknowledge the existence of significant barriers that impede the access and inclusion of people with disabilities in various aspects of our society. These barriers can manifest in physical, social, and attitudinal forms, creating inequalities and hindering the full participation of individuals with disabilities. Physical barriers include inadequate infrastructures, such as the lack of accessible, affordable housing and transportation, which restrict mobility and independence. Social barriers arise from stigma and prejudice, often leading to exclusion, discrimination, and limited opportunities for those with disabilities. And attitudinal barriers stem from misconceptions and biases affecting how society perceives and interacts with people with disabilities, ultimately reinforcing stereotypes and biases. Recognizing these barriers is the first step toward meaningful change. By identifying and addressing these challenges, we can work together to create a more inclusive, accessible, and equitable world for everyone, ensuring that no one is left behind, and that all individuals have the opportunity to reach their full potential, regardless of their ability. Providing access for people with disabilities cannot be overstated. Inclusivity and accessibility are a shared responsibility. When we come together to remove barriers and create a more inclusive environment, we not only uplift the lives of individuals with disabilities, but also enrich our entire community. I want to give a special thanks to those who took the time to nominate tonight's recipients. Without your thoughtful nominations, we would not have the opportunity to recognize the vital work of these individuals and organizations. And finally, I really want to applaud all the award recipients for their ongoing commitment to advancing the inclusion of community members with disabilities in all aspects of civic engagement in Fort Collins. So, thank you, everyone. And now I'm going to give it back to Terry. Oh, no? I'm going to give it to Jacqueline.
Yeah. Great. Here you go. Of course. Of course.
Yeah, you are done. Feel free to sit down and enjoy the rest of the night. Thank you so much, and we are going to transition into the actual awards now. So again, feel free to keep eating, dessert will be served, and we are going to go through all of our award recipients. The way we are planning to do this is we are going to announce the award, announce the winner, and then read a little bit from the nomination text of why this person won. Some of the nomination texts were quite long, so they've been truncated, and some people received numerous nominations, so it's just a little bit here and there of why these people deserve to be recognized. After we announce it, please, the award winner, please come up and feel free to say a few words. Use like the Oscars kind of cut off, just a couple minutes maybe, but we would love to hear from you and just hear how this award resonates with you. So to kick us off, we have Evan, who is going to be announcing our Diversity and Inclusion Employer Award.
Thank you, Jacqueline. And again, I'm here to do the Diversity and Inclusion Employer Award. And when I had seen some of the nominations come through, this one meant a little bit to me because this is actually one of my previous employers. So the award for this one is Disabled Resource Services, and they have been, one of the reasons that they really deserve this is they've been in the community for over 40 years as a state certified nonprofit, Center for Independent Living, and have been helping people with disabilities overcome their drawbacks and things of that nature, and make them become more involved in the community. And so all the work that they've done and getting through the pandemic and everything and still here after 45 years is one of the great reasons why we felt that they deserve the Diversity and Inclusion Employer Award. So thank you guys.
Thank you very much, and let everyone know about Disabled Resource Services.
Let's get the word out.
I'm the lead independent living specialist. We have an honor.
And I'm the bilingual independent living specialist.
Yes.
I'm the fundraiser.
And I'm just the office manager.
Yes, great work, guys. Yeah, you guys are
Resource Services. Our next award is being read by Terry. It's the Inclusive Services Excellence Award.
Actually, I think I'm reading the Kindness Ambassador. This year's Kindness Ambassador of the Year is Luis Montalvo. Luis is an advocate at heart. He is part of the Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Advisory Board for Larimer County. Giving his time to work for a more respectful society, providing ideas to protect and respect all communities in Larimer, but especially the seniors and developmental challenged communities. As part of his job with the Taxpayers Advocate Service, Luis serves as an advocate with congressional leaders to have a better tax system in place that corresponds to the realities of our nation. He presents a policy statement to the IRS Commissioner, one that recognizes the values that a diverse workforce brings, and that policy statement is now part of the mission and values of the IRS. He promotes more community engagements between the IRS, especially for those disadvantaged communities, informing immigrant communities, senior communities, and the disabled community of their rights when filing taxes. Is Luis here this evening?
I believe so. Yeah, Luis, please come on up.
First of all, thank you guys. I know they mentioned the Oscars, so I don't want anyone to come over here and slap me. You can wait to the parking lot if you guys want. No, but besides that, thank you. It's a long way, it's a long fight where every day that I go to my office, I try to do what I can. And it's really special for me because this Monday, I just realized that the IRS have a rule that call people mentally impaired, and they discriminate against them because if you have that title, you will not have anyone to work for you in taxes, and then you will not have access to the state, to any state planning or anything like that. So it means a lot, and I think this award will give me more resources to keep fighting. So thank you. And thank you so much.
All right, and I went a little out of order, sorry there, so we're gonna go back to our Inclusive Services Excellence Award. This award recognizes a business, organization, or service provider that provides exemplary, life-enriching services to people with disabilities, and the winner this year is People First of Larimer County. So some nice words to say about you. People First of Larimer County is a group of individuals with IDD. People First comes together to form and acknowledge equality by learning and fighting for issues within government. People First fosters self-determination and self-worth by creating meaningful connections. They are a group of individuals with an understanding of the issues our society faces and aims for a better place for all with IDD through leadership and education. Thank you.
Thank you so much. My name is Julian Wang. I'm the current president. And here are some of my current members. There's some others around, but we all are all around. We're always looking for new members, for people, IDD and people with that. We've done many great things within the city of Fort Collins by testifying on bills, being part of legislation on transportation, employment, and so on and so forth. So we always would love to keep fighting for people with disabilities, with intellectual and developmental disabilities, and thank you for the recognition.
his 25 years.
Getting some good photo ops. All right, we'll move along to the Life-Changing Worker Award. This award recognizes an employee of any organization who embraces their daily call to do impactful, life-changing work for and with people with disabilities. This year, the award goes to Mallory Kudrina. Practice. All right, a little bit about Mallory. Mallory is on the DEI Council at New Belgium and is a staunch advocate for persons with disabilities. Working outside of her job description, Mallory goes above and beyond in making New Belgium a more accessible place for disabled coworkers and patrons through her learning and development perspective. She was the first coworker to recognize Global Accessibility Awareness Day, providing a 60-minute tech talk to our coworkers across the company to teach us how to integrate accessibility into our daily work. She is also the first coworker to create communications for Disability Pride Month, writing weekly themed posts for New Belgium that featured the history of Disability Pride Month and the intersectionality of Disability Pride Month with BIPOC Mental Health Awareness Month, and also accessible restaurants, bars, and businesses, and fun resources on how to sign some key beer terms in ASL. She brings thoughtfulness, hope, and knowledge in her advocacy, making her passion contagious. Thank you, Mallory. Come on up.
Hi, thank you. This is making me feel really emotional. I'm really honored and proud to be here. I just really believe that everyone deserves a chance to participate and that we can all play a part in making the workplace and our communities more inclusive. And I don't know much else to say. I'm really grateful to work at a place that not only embraces accessibility, but is just super supportive. And I'm really grateful for the friendships and the excellent conversations that we've had as a company on how we can be more inclusive at work. So, thanks everyone.
All right, for our next award, we have another presenter from the Disability Advisory Board. Linda, would you like to come up?
It is a little odd to have the camera right there. You do feel like you're like at the, yeah, it's real. In any case, I am very proud to have this opportunity to describe, I think, a very amazing police chief. The award that we're talking about now is the Community Impact Inspiration Award. And the police chief, Jeff Swoboda, who's with us tonight, his collaborative leadership and formation of the Chiefs Community Advisory Committee is an example of what makes Fort Collins so special. He has invited individuals on this committee to share concerns about safety issues related to their community, including the disability community. And nothing's off the table. He's always willing to listen. He also does a briefing on issues and police programs at the committee's monthly meeting. Transparency, community involvement, and character are keystones of the Chief's leadership. The Chief's leadership and model of inclusion and collaboration are critical to the safety of all of Fort Collins community members, and specifically those with disabilities. So it's with great honor that we will be presenting, and he's here tonight, so. they'll have the camera there. So let me get out of the way and let you get there.
Just thank you very much, Linda, and I just would echo a lot of what Mallory had to say as well, that we all play a part in this. And policing is a tough profession to be in, and it only becomes easier when you include other people. And I really appreciate Linda being on the advisory committee, because like any organization, you can't have all the perspectives that are counting on you in the community. So what we try to do is bring in more people who represent our entire community, and many times they're very small segments of the community, but they have just as many expectations and dreams, and they want what's best for Fort Collins. So our committee is great. If people are interested, let me know. But we have monthly meetings, and nothing is off the table. And so we're talking about the things that are impacting different communities. Because you might say, "Oh, who really has an issue with this?" And somebody says, "Well, I do. Let's talk about it." So the great conversations to be had, and I think we get better because of our advisory committee. And thanks, Linda, and thanks for this awards, and I appreciate it.
All right, next up is the Inclusive Teaching Excellence Honor. This award recognizes an administrator, teacher, or paraprofessional who stands as an advocate for students with disabilities to ensure educational access and equity in the classroom, anywhere from preschool through post-secondary. Tonight's winner is Wendy Miller. Wendy, I have a few things to read about. Wendy is an integrated services teacher in the Poudre School District. This person says, I have had the pleasure of working alongside Wendy and her students in the Wildlands Restoration Volunteers Seeds of Stewardship program. The Seeds of Stewardship engages local high school youth in a hands-on learning experience of growing and planting native plants in local landscapes. Taking a group of students with IEPs outside of the familiar controlled environment of the classroom adds layers of complexity to the planning process. But Wendy guarantees her students have access to these learning experiences through her endless creativity and persistence. No matter what accommodations need to be put in place, her students have access to enriching experiences in and outside of the classroom. At the end of a workday, Wendy's students are just as sweaty and have just as much dirt under their nails as the rest of the volunteers. For years into the future, these students will be able to see plants that they planted in our community, and they will know just as much about the biology that is happening and have just as much sweat equity in those gardens as all of the other volunteers, just because Wendy Miller was their high school teacher. So Wendy, please come up and say a few words, and thank you.
First of all, I just want to say thank you for the nomination. I feel honored to be up here, and this makes me super emotional because I love my kids and I want to give them access at all times to the community, and taking them we recently went to Arthur's Rock and collected some native seeds, and the kids that you think are not going to have a great time really do. Some of our kids that really struggle with some emotional disabilities. I heard one of them this year say, I thought this was going to be boring, but I'm really having a good time. And so it was really nice to see that. And they just really love to access the mountains, which we are right here, but a lot of them don't have access to that. So seeing them engage in their community and then get out and replant these things is just incredible. So if you want to see some of the gardens that we've done, we did the gardens by CSU. What is that? It's Fort Collins.
Gardens at Spring Creek.
Thank you. The Gardens at Spring Creek. Yes. And then we also did the path over by Epic. So the Spring Creek path. It's right down. If you go look, we planted I think 300 plants last year. So if you get a chance, well, now they're starting to probably go away, but in the spring, go see those. I guess they're really flourishing. I didn't have a chance to get out there this year, but the Wildlands Restoration Group is pretty amazing, giving us the opportunity to take our kids out there and just experience it. So again, thank you so much. Thank you, Deb.
Did you get your picture? All right, and for our last award of the night, Terry is going to come back and present this one, the Dorothy Lasley Memorial Award. So this award recognizes a person with a disability who is an active voice in the community, championing for the rights of all people with disabilities. It's in honor of Miss Lasley, who worked tirelessly through her lifetime toward removing both architectural and attitudinal barriers for citizens with disabilities.
Thank you, Jacqueline. This year's Dorothy Lasley Memorial Award recipient is Daisy Montgomery. Daisy had nearly a dozen nominations, so we can't read them all, but here's just a snippet from one. Daisy Montgomery is a champion for the autism community, informing others on the personal challenges that autism spectrum disorder can entail. Daisy educates sincerely with humor and wit and can speak from personal experience on the impacts of accepting and supporting autistic individuals in Fort Collins. Daisy is an incredible advocate within the autistic and disabled communities. As an autistic adult myself, I feel supported and inspired by Daisy's courage to fight against the grain and dispel misinformation. Not only does Daisy personally work incredibly hard to empower those in her close community, but she is an incredible advocate for her son and the clients she works with through Autistics Anonymous. It is not only the responsibility to disabled people to fight for their own rights or to prove to the neurotypical community that they are people too. Nevertheless, Daisy has committed to use her passion and skills to be the advocate the community desperately needs. Daisy has become an integral part of educating the public about autistic individuals. She is not only a voice for a community that needs a voice of their own, but she is educating others on what autism is and feels like. Her work in advocacy allows people, parents, companies, communities, and teachers to realize and begin to understand that they should not be putting limits on autistic students or people. Daisy's work makes autistic individuals feel heard, seen, and understood, oftentimes for the first time. She is making their lives and feeling socially understood, so those they work with and socially accepted to themselves. She is doing what very few have done before, and she should be noticed for that. The autistic community and the bigger community at large are lucky to have her. Daisy, if you are here this evening, please come up.
Wow. That was probably some of the nicest words anyone's ever said to me before, not including my wonderful husband over there. I'm honored to be here. I am an autistic woman, and my son is autistic, and I began Autistics Anonymous as a way to help autistics get employment opportunities, because 75 to 85% of autistics are unemployed. I educate schools, police departments, businesses, and organizations on the humanity behind autism. So often, we're so preoccupied with the clinical definitions and what the DSM-5 says that we don't really consider what it feels like to be autistic every day. And I feel very honored that people are really resonating with my work, and I'm looking forward to continuing to make an impact on the community that I love. Thank you.
Daisy, seriously, that was like a fifth of all of the things that people said about you. So we will email you all of the rest of the nice things.
We had to narrow it down a bit.
How about one more round of applause for everybody who's won? awards portion of the night. We just have one more thing before we would like you all to hang out, enjoy dessert, and feel free to just talk amongst yourselves. To close out the evening, we have Savannah Overturf, who is going to read some original poetry of hers. Maybe not so original, or maybe not so poetry.
It's poetry,
Okay.
speech, poetry.
Okay. All original, we'll see where it goes. Come on up, Savannah.
The first poem I am reading is from a book that we all started to get together called a Zoom. It's a Zoom open mic that happened during COVID, and then it just kept happening. And then we created a book all together. It is called Blossoming and Becoming. The day I was born, the world shined on a unique soul, its rays shimmering through the clouds, hardships and triumphs to come, life and death to endure. Year zero, machines stuck to a tiny body, mother's hands wrapping tight around tiny fingers. Like plucking a dandelion, fathers pacing, making furrows on hospital floors. Label 1, failure to thrive. Year 1. Miracles gained, tubes removed, cheering, clearing, dusk, wait to gain. Year 3, grunts and sounds, anger bound, sadness flies. Label, autistic. Year 4, wails and screams as fear races to first place, shadows, murders, a family's desire to help, the world closing in, movements unknowing, twitches and glitches. Label 2 and 3, schizophrenia and Tourette syndrome. Year 7, second grade. A time for mud pies and giggles. One little girl sits alone in a corner, a life ruled by pictures in a mind not fully grown. Label 4, institutionalized. Year 9, a change stirs through heartache and struggle, two families split but never separated. Label 5, divorce. Year 13, bullied and shoved, disgraced and dismayed. A loner can only be alone so long. Label 6, bullied. Year 18, death and sadness, loved ones lost to the ground, gone too soon. Label 7, stepfather passes. Year 23, new games afoot, life-changing, stirring a pot in confidence, changing an outlook, bringing friends, making change. Label 8, Miss Amazing. Blooming through life, spreading my seeds through smiles. Labels, bad or good, we're all made up of our own unique stickers stuck to our skin, labeling us for the world to see, but us to determine. So I ask you, who will you become? So yeah, that's my first full poem. Now the speech person. Hello everyone, as some of you heard, my name is Savannah Overturf. Most know me as Savvy, so yes, our parrots, Savvy. Hello from wonderful Fort Collins, Colorado. I'm so happy to be here talking to all of you. I am a strong, uniquely abled woman. I have autism, epilepsy, IDD, schizophrenia, and Tourette syndrome. I love that I take chances, I break boundaries. Growing up, I was bullied due to my disabilities. The world around me felt scary and like a place I just never would fit in. I wanted to be normal as much as I was waiting for my letter from Hogwarts, and how far-fetched was that? As I grew up, I started to realize there was no real normal, but rather what society had deemed socially acceptable. I thought if I worked really, really, really hard, I would fit in this world, and the children I tried to interact with might think of giving me the chance. I heard something the other day that really stuck with me. It made me pause. It stated, a child with disability spends hours being taught how to work with others. But why don't we teach
those without disabilities, how to interact with them. This statement for me summed up so many things I was thinking of. It put it into words. I hadn't really known what to say before. For me, Special Olympics has been that place. A place where I never felt like I had a mask. A place that promotes my self-worth and confidence, where voices like mine are being elevated. I truly believe Special Olympics has enabled me to be the best me I can be. Because of them, I'm a strong advocate for myself and others. I recently graduated with my BA in Communication Studies from CSU and a minor in creative writing, hence the writing. I'm the type of woman that I know it's okay to be sad. And if I see someone else who's sad or just might be down, it helps to sit with them, to give them comfort, even if that means not saying a word, and just listening. I have been playing with Special Olympics for 12 years now. I currently compete in swimming, softball, bowling, basketball, along with a whole list of other things. My Special Olympics teams are so important to me. I love being able to be an athlete leader and player. I'm a writer and a poet, and even have my own published book. I've had the honor of giving a TED Talk in 2020 because advocacy is dear to my heart. I even started the Inclusion Project, where I go into schools, businesses, organizations, and we talk about how people with IDD have so much to offer, and just how to interact. I'm an appointed member of the county's Diversity, Equity, Inclusion Committee, and am newly, actually this last week, on the board of directors for Special Olympics Colorado. So never forget, no matter what the challenges you face, you can truly make an impact on this world. So today I want to just finish with one poem that is extremely close to my heart and something that I think is really important to hear. Just so you know, it is not a great word. I hate the word. I do spell it. I don't say it, FYI. This poem is entitled The R Word. So, yeah. R-E-T-A-R-D. Repeat, no, you figure it out. A word that stings and hurts me to my very core. You say it without thinking. It just spills out of your mouth. I wonder if you knew the history, if you would think it or say it ever again. R is for reluctance, reluctantly tied to beds, unknowing what you have done wrong, broken and sad. E is for education, educate what you can, leave the rest behind. T is for torture, told by the ones you love, you are broken and you can't be fixed. A is for anger, rolling like a steam engine, keeping the future at arm's length. R is for a word rolled up in hate, strung up for you to laugh at. D is for dysfunctional, danger. We have to change the word. Change the word to end the word R. Respect, E, endurance, T, tolerance, A, acceptance, R, responsibility, and D is for decency. Expect and accept love. Give tolerance. Thank you.
Wow, I don't know how to follow that up. Thank you so much, Savannah. Your words carry weight. You keep speaking truth to power. Wonderful job. Well, that concludes our ceremony for this evening. I want to take the time to thank everyone involved. I want to offer a special thank you to Jacqueline Menendez for all the planning that she put in tonight. I want to thank Claudia Menendez for all the work you did as well. I'd like to thank the caterers, the members of the DAV, the sign language interpreters for the work they did. I'd like to thank Coles, the members of council, and anyone that I'm leaving out. I thank you all, and have a wonderful evening.